it doesn't look like they have been able to make any headway. Of course, Secretary General has to report this to the Security Council, and then Council has to start debating. What they have on the table there is the report that I and my colleagues presented in March, towards the end of March this year. And we will see whether there's a different reception to that report now. I think everyone has known what the outcome is going to come. I think this 120-day exercise was important because it should now hopefully unite the European Union in dealing with this. No, I would say that it's much more important what sort of political leadership in countries have. Had there not been, if you look around in the world, and if you look at the past history of the world and the greatest disasters, it always is around certain individuals, and others have very much followed. Unfortunately, Mr. Milosevic behaved in a manner that can't be ignored. I don't think anyone, even in Serbia, there may be few, but I think majority of Serbs also recognize that things went badly wrong. And I think that has to be the beginning when you start looking for a solution. Because if you think that you can start negotiating the status of Kosovo without any history at all, there are democratic forces in power at the moment who beat Milosevic in elections. And sometimes they behave like there wouldn't be any history and we should start from a time before Mr. Milosevic. But it doesn't work that way. And I don't think you can force the situation otherwise. Over 90% of the population in Kosovo yearns for independence. After what happened only in the 90s, you don't need to go further than that. I think there has been a lot of work done on both sides. The political leadership in Kosovo at the moment, the Albanians have actually been, Kosovars have been in touch with the visited, Prime Minister have visited, President has visited the Serb communities. Serbian Orthodox Church has had a dialogue with the Kosovo Albanians, and that has led to a different attitudes in many places. I have visited some of the monasteries, for instance, and witnessed that personally. But one of the problems is that when the status is not clear, whether a country becomes independent or not, it actually prevents the sort of normal dialogue between people. And furthermore, when Kosovo Serbs have not participated in elections like the recent one, because they have been ordered by Belgrade not to, and they have decided themselves that that's the line they want to follow. It's very difficult then, if you want to exclude yourself in the political process, it's very difficult to come to a normal situation, or at least somewhat normal situation where the dialogue could be pursued. But there's an enormous amount of work that still lies ahead, whatever status comes, because I think reconciliation is a long-term exercise. Throughout my career, I have dealt with groups that have at one time or another been branded as terrorists, sometimes for political convenience, more than anything else. And it's interesting to see that the same groups have, when they come to power in certain countries or they share power in some others, they have become responsible actors in their societies. I don't think you learn to become responsible if you don't hold power. And therefore, to imagine that if there has been a political process or democratic political process through elections that are generally regarded as free and fair, to say that certain groups are excluded because their statements have been such that others and neighbors might find them objectionable. I have experienced from many of these conflicts that people know, organizations know what is expected of them if they are part of a political process. But it's, I think, nearly unreasonable to believe that any of these groups would start the political process by declaring that, yes, we accept this, this and that. It will come, but it's part of a political process. And I think we are wasting our time if we believe that one can artificially push this sort of groups aside. No, I think IBS is an important organization in many ways because it first of all, its information concentrates in the processes, not on personalities and events as media tends to more and more concentrate. It analyzes the situation and therefore it is of vital importance. And it also brings people together. This is one event, but we can draw conclusions out of this discussion as well. Every conflict can be solved. If we put our political will behind it, we get all the necessary actors to support us, problems can be solved. In most conflicts, we know very well what needs to be done. We are simply hesitating or not moving forward. And there, as the different religions, they're coming together, talking, as we heard the reports here, are of vital importance. It's the best preventive medicine I can think of. Now, we have seen that the World War II ended the Nazism that was destroying Europe. Sometimes you need military intervention to stop the genocide. I think more has been done wrong in the world of not interfering in time. We could have saved many lives. We know in Africa on a number of locations where international communities should have actually acted, but it didn't. But it is also very important that if we have to use military force to stop a conflict, that then reconciliation work starts.